Mean Girls, Spongebob Squarepants. They are leading this year's Tony nominations with 12 each. This is a look at the nominees for the highly anticipated Best Musical Award. The top Broadway contenders from this season were announced earlier on CBS this morning. The children's genre and fan-backed shows were clear to dominate the nominees this year. Jamie Wax is a CBS News contributor, and he is here to break down the best of Broadway for us. SpongeBob, right. Which when that play was announced, that musical was announced, I was like, they can't. I mean, the cartoon is strangely subversive. It's not just for children. I mean, adults can get into it too. But I really thought, how are they going to do this on Broadway? And I talked to people who've seen it. For example, Sopan Deb, who covers culture for the New York Times.
Sopan loved it.
Sopan loved it. Yeah. He came back and he was like, dude, this is the best musical I've seen all year.
It's really fun. I mean, what they did was they did not want it to be a theme park show. I think there are 3 shows that had potential to be theme park musicals this year: Frozen, SpongeBob, and Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And they all worked hard to avoid that sort of syndrome. So SpongeBob went to Tina Landau, one of the most influential and experimental directors working in theater today, and she approached the whole thing as this very existential piece. Also, they went to famous musicians and each had them compose one song for the musical. So this score was composed by David Bowie, John Legend, Aerosmith.
That's so cool.
And it really works. It's a really fun show, and that cast works so hard. They are very, very, very strong actors in it.
Are you surprised that Frozen didn't get more nominations?
I'm not, because of the lukewarm reaction that it got from critics. I think people were expecting something a little different, maybe to be just wowed by the whole thing a little more. It's got an incredible creative team behind it, and again, a very solid cast. But actually, I don't think Frozen needs the nominations. They're breaking box office records at the St. James Theater. They show no sign of slowing down. You're not going to go see Frozen because it got a Tony Award or a good review.
No, right. You're going to see it because your kids love it, and maybe you love it too.
And you'll see some really strong performances when you see it.
I heard you talking on CBS this morning about Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, parts 1 and 2.
Right.
And same thing. When I heard that was announced, everybody loves the books, everybody loves the films. I thought to myself, man, my first thought was, is this a money grab?
Right.
Right? And it's not.
It certainly doesn't seem to be. It's a money dump, first of all.
It's one of the most expensive.
It is the most expensive non-musical in Broadway history. A total of $68 million is what they say, but that includes renovating the theater. The Lyric Theater is magic from the moment you walk up to it. Not walk into it, but the signage. If you're in New York, walk past this theater on either side, and you will see these incredible signs that draw you in, and they renovated everything from the carpeting to the seats to redoing the fronts of the loges and the balconies with phoenixes, and it is an incredible transporting experience. But at the heart of all this, these great visuals, is an incredible cast who give really solid performances. But then, just like J.K. Rowling's always done, which is funny, I second-guessed her, you second-guessed her. Think about the books and how mature they got by the end of that series. Right. This is the sequel to that series. It picks up right where the last book ended, and it's more mature than any Harry Potter story there is. It's about loss. It's about being a parent. It's about failing. It's about being trapped in a destiny you don't want to be in. It's a very human play, and it's constructed in a way that 5.5+ hours just fly. They fly by.
Can somebody who hasn't seen the movies or the books go to this play?
Absolutely. There are moments where they announce people's names, Dolores Umbridge or something, and everybody has a gasp or an applause or a laugh. You might feel out of place in those moments, but other than that, it's a very clear story.
Okay. Before we talk about the plays, I want to just talk. It's interesting that there have not been that many plays released this year and musicals released this year, but I did get to see one, Once on This Island, which has been nominated for Best Revival.
It's one of my favorite things running.
What an incredible musical.
I think that's the little show that could this year. You know, there's usually a little show that could that everybody's rooting for. It is in, I think, the toughest category. It's against the other 2 revivals on Broadway.
But those other revivals are just so, they've always been good.
That's
Carousel,
right.
My Fair Lady.
And they're gorgeous, sumptuous, dutiful revivals of that. But Once on This Island comes to life in a way that is very, very much involving of the audience, and it's a different kind of show. I really encourage people who are trying to find something to see on Broadway Broadway that's a little different to check this show out.
Let's talk about best revival of a play, Angels in America. We have a personal connection here. Our
That's right.
producer, Adam.
Yes.
His husband is in that play.
Correct.
Did you sit through 8 hours of this play?
It's 7 hours and 40 minutes to be specific, not quite 8. It's a beautiful play. It's a Pulitzer Prize-winning play, as is Three Tall Women, which is interesting in the revival category. And
Iceman Cometh. I mean, I want to see that because anything Denzel's in when he's on Broadway is incredible.
Well, and that's the short play this season at 3 hours and 50 minutes. But really, to compare Harry Potter and the Cursed Child and Angels in America is kind of is ridiculous in a way, but in a way about their structure, they tell epic stories. They need the time. There's not a wasted moment in Angels in America. It's a story that moves along and feels dangerous and feels revelatory all these years later, and unbelievable performances by the leads.
So that's going to be a tough category, revival of a play.
I mean, I think so. I think it'll go to, I think Angels in America has it. I think Iceman Cometh is strong. A lot of people think it's a bit fast and light for the treatment of that piece. You can't deny the brilliance
Eugene
of
O'Neill,
Denzel.
fast and light. That's
I mean, that's it. Well, if you want to get through a 4-hour play, make it quick. I think that's what George C. Wolfe told him. But Denzel Washington is totally magnetic in it, and it's well worth seeing. There's so much good stuff on Broadway, even though it's, as you said, the lowest number of eligible plays in over 10 years. 30 plays only were eligible for Tonys this year, as opposed to 21 musicals premiering on Broadway last season. Only 10 premiered this season. So a lot of these high numbers are because of lack of competition this year, but there is no lack of great experience. And this is one of those years where there's something for every taste on Broadway right now.
Fantastic. Jamie Wax, always good to have you. Thanks for coming by, man. Yeah, we haven't had you in a while. Thank you. You can watch the 72nd Annual Tony Awards on Sunday, June 10th at 8/7 Central on CBS.